Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Base Fuego y Sonrisa podcast.
Let's go.
It's your boy Fuego in the house.
And it's Senior Sonrisa777.
And we back. What is going on, everyone? I know you guys have missed our beautiful voices without a video on there. We appreciate it. But we are happy to be back on audio, just to, let you guys know, give you guys little updates on what we've kind of been up to, and actually try something new. Senior Sonrisa kind of gave me the idea, or gave us the idea, to review a previous episode, because we felt like there was more conversations that are very valuable for you guys, and conversations, or also like tips, and also mental advice from that episode that we got from Melanie. So we want to shout her out for all the help and for her coming on. That we feel like can really help all you guys out. I know it's helped me a whole lot, which I'll get into as we proceed with this episode. But yeah, I'm very grateful for that. But before I dive in, so you got anything you want to add on to this?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the reasons why I thought about this is because I think it's when we were doing the podcast, it was either conversations or it was interviews, but we never had like a recap. We never had a recap of like our point of view. And through the interviews, you can kind of see our point of view, but we never really dive deep into the why we thought what we think and stuff like that. So I think this should be fun. Like, I'm saying, I'm excited to talk about a few things we have, that we talked about, and just different perspective, our perspective, especially being here in the Bay Area. So see what happens.
Nah, thanks. So thank you for the great idea. We're gonna just dive into it. We came up with like some topics to discuss as it pertains to the episode that we just had with Melanie. If you guys have not checked it out, please go ahead and check it out. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify. We're there. You guys can see the whole conversation and how Melanie got out of 80,000. I was gonna go like now, like 90, 80. Nah, thanks, man. Yeah, $80,000 in student loan debt. Like, she had a whole lot, and man, it was really nice to hear her whole story.
And so it's episode 23. So just in case you guys need help in finding the episode, it's episode 23. And it's about an hour and a half.
Yeah, like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's a cool listen though. You get to hear her story and some of the tips that she's given out to people who are in a similar situation.
Heck yeah. So one of the topics that I wanted to discuss was talking about like being ashamed about having debt. I felt like it was a very conversation that people obviously don't have, because who wants to talk about debt or any debt?
For real.
Like, we're all out here trying to live our lives, and like either we go out to the Pitbull song. I forgot, it goes like something like,
I just pay my rent, something like that.
I know my pen is rent, or I know my rent is due. Whatever, right? Basically,
I work my ass off
and I still can't pay, Right? It's like we know we're in debt, but we still want to go and enjoy ourselves, which I'm not saying that it's the right way to live. I'm just saying I understand why people wouldn't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I feel like even though it's very hard to accept that you have debt, and sometimes you don't want to look at the debt that you owe, if it's credit card debt, if it's loan debt, student loan debt, it can be any type of debt that you owe. Maybe like a friend-to-friend type of debt. It's always cool to at least acknowledge it within yourself, to talk about it, because I feel like at least you accepting that you have this debt, and you are willing to work towards paying it off, even though it may feel like a burden and you may feel like it's not fun to do, but it's responsible, and you have to pay it off. But nonetheless, I know it's something that people don't want to talk about, and I'm not saying that people should go ahead and talk about it unless you have somebody that you are really close with, that obviously not going to go around and tell everybody your business. And number two, it's like, or maybe like a therapist, if you see a therapist that you want to talk about it with. Like, I think in those cases it's okay to talk about it, but I feel like in general, I would just say don't really talk about it. Just accept it, at least for yourself, that you have this debt and that you want to work on it. Don't be ashamed that you have it. There's tons of people who had debt. I had debt. Like, everybody, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people had debt. Yeah. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. And I understand, because for a minute I was ashamed too. Like, man, you see, your friends from high school living this certain life. They're going out to these fancy restaurants. They got nice food, and you're like, damn, I want to eat, but my debt says I owe $200 in credit card debt, and I gotta pay rent. Like, how am I supposed to do all that? So I understand where all of that comes from, but again, it's just, hey, just know that if you at least try to tackle it on, you'll be able to, eventually get to that life. And sometimes what they're posting isn't really their truth. So remember that. So focus on yourself. Focus on your grind. And again, it's not an easy conversation to have, especially with yourself, because we know sometimes we are in debt denial. You know what I'm saying? I was for a little bit, but not too much. Honestly, I knew I had debt. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I knew I had debt. But yeah, what do you think about that, brother?
So I agree. Like, I agree in the sense of, like, when you have debt, you feel ashamed. You feel the sense of, like, damn, like, I can't do this, I can't do that. I did a stupid thing, like, a long time ago. And I'll come back to it a little bit, but pretty much I was really into this girl and stuff like that, and I got, like, a timeshare, which is, like, don't ever do that. I'm just letting you guys know right now. Timeshares, they're not it. Like, they're not it. They're not it at all. They are less than it. They are nothing. But anyway, timeshare was like $5,000, and then I was being very reckless with my money and stuff like that, and so I got into some credit card debt. In the case, I ended up leaving that relationship, and then I was like, oh shit! I woke up one day, I'm like, oh, I got $8,000 of credit card. I got $8,000 of debt. Ooh. This isn't. This sucks. And then you make your monthly payments and stuff like that, and then you realize it's 20% interest on your credit card, and then 24% interest on the timeshare, something like that. And so I was pretty much paying 40% interest of what I was like. I'm like, no wonder I'm not getting anywhere. And so I just had to have those tough conversations, like, recognize debt is there, and then and just finding solutions. And that's when I started looking at getting a small loan, and I even consider bankruptcy and stuff like that. But you should always talk to your lawyers and stuff like that, because there's once you reach a certain amount of debt, there is a reason why you should go into bankruptcy. But you should always consult somebody who does bankruptcy, a lawyer, because they'll advise you, because there is a cost to bankruptcy, right? If you go bankrupt, it affects your credit for up to 7 years. So that's a long time, especially if you're young. Yeah, if you want to get a house, car, stuff like that, it does affect you. And I talked to a lawyer. They advised me not to do it because their terms was, it wasn't a lot of debt. It was $8,000, which seemed like a lot for me, but in the grand scheme of things, he advised me that the cost was higher than the benefit of going bankrupt. So I looked at other options. My next option was debt consolidation, which is what I did, which is you take a personal loan from either a bank or a credit union, and you just pay off your old debt with the new debt. But you might think, well, 8,000 is 8,000, right? And technically, yeah, you're right, but the interest rate is going to be a lot lower, and you're going to be saving a shit ton of money from, and even if you pay like 10% interest, well, that's half the interest that you were paying. You know what I'm saying? Fortunately for me, because I have good credit, I was able to pay like 6%, something like that. So I went from like damn near 40% interest to 6%, and I was able to get all my debt into one lump sum, pretty much one payment, versus having two different payments and trying to figure out what's due when and all that stuff. And that's when I talked to you about it, you know what I'm saying? Because you had some debt too, and you were going through, like, I'm pretty sure, I think it was credit card debt that you had. Yeah. And I was telling you, like, hey bro, like I get it, like I understand you have your ways and stuff like that, you have your own habits, but just take it into consideration, because I'm able to pay this shit off a lot quicker because my interest is so low. So just take into consideration, like, I know you have like 4 or 5 different payments that you have to do, but it's easier when you have one payment and then your interest is so low that it's going towards principal, and then I was able to pay it off in a little bit over a year. You know what I'm saying? And hell yeah. It just feels like cool, like,
hell yeah.
So I understand, like, the burden of having debt, but just try to face it head on, you know?
Yeah. And one thing also is the feeling of accomplishment. Like once I consolidated my debt, like I it was funny because I didn't know what the feeling was. Like I couldn't make what I was telling Senior Sonrisa. Like I don't know what I feel, but I just feel something. Like I just feel like I'm like happy is not the word, but feel something. He's like accomplished, and I'm like yes, accomplished. I feel accomplished. Like I had so much like. Even though I'm really cool at keeping my cool and staying calm, like you wouldn't really know I'm dealing with something, but like just to know that it was all in one place really helped me feel like I could breathe again. And like you mentioned, it's just a lower interest rate, so that really showed. When you're so used to seeing 24%, 25%, you've seen it for so long, you think that's like normal. But when you see that 11%, you're like, oh, what? I still have this extra? Like,
Yeah.
it's a really great feeling. So yeah, guys, don't be ashamed of paying off your debt, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And so that kind of comes into like my next point that I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And she talked about it in the episode. And she quotes, like, it was kind of funny because she quotes a meme, but she says, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? And we kind of talked a little bit about it right now, which is trying to look for solutions. But I think even before you get to that part, one of the things that that Melanie talked about was the mindset that you have with money, right? So you have to kind of have a certain relationship with money, and you might have to start interrogating your own beliefs. One of the beliefs that she had to like interrogate pretty much and view it in a different way was student loan debt. So when she had $80,000, it was $80,000 of student loan debt, and we're kind of taught. We talked about this before, but we're kind of taught in this society in the Western United States that student debt is good debt. Like, don't worry about it. It's gonna pay off. Blah blah blah. Like, you're gonna get your job. Blah blah. But the reality is, like, when you graduate from college, you don't get that job right away. It might take years, and yeah, it's not. There's no such thing as a good kind. I mean, there is. How would I say it? There's no such thing as good kind of debt, but there is debt that you need to have in order to have credit score and stuff like that. So I don't even know what to call that. It's not good debt, but it's not bad. It's just necessary.
Necessary debt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, she had to change her idea from student loan debt being the good type of debt, and then her facing the reality that her having debt is causing a lot of not just like financial stress but mental stress.
Yeah.
So she had to interrogate that belief, change to say, you know what, it is debt. I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue to have this. So she had to interrogate her belief. And sometimes our relationship with money comes from childhood. And she talked about that. She talked about how when she was poor, that, you know, her parents were, I guess, middle class, but they thought the rich people were evil or whatever. And so when you have that type of belief system, you start to have a different relationship with money. And so it's probably the reason why she was pursuing something in the arts or something where it's not making a lot of money, because she was perceiving money as this evil thing. So she had to change her relationship with money, realize that money is just a tool. And then once you start changing your belief and your psychology, your relationship with the money, then you can start pushing yourself to do something. And that's when she talked about when she changed, interrogated those beliefs about money not being so evil, but money rather being a tool. She was able to, it kind of gave her the fire to like start going into blogging, and that's when she created her whole blog of Dear Debt. She created a book about it. She pretty much changed her whole life. And you know what I'm saying? And it starts with the mind, like, you know, whether it's, in this situation we're talking about money, but whether it's relationship with your friends or your family, or in this case money, if you don't have a mental shift, you're going to continue to fall into the same pattern of behavior, and you're going to continue to make the same mistakes. So I thought that was really powerful, and just wanted to hear what your thoughts about that.
Yeah, no, I totally like that. It's funny. I feel like, yeah, in order to change, right, it has to be it has to be something within yourself. And sometimes people, kind of like what she referenced, like, or what she mentioned, was that some people notice that, like, they notice that they're on the cusp of knowing they just need to make one change, which is maybe it could be waking up earlier, or maybe checking out your Credit Karma score, or checking out your Mint that she mentioned, like to check out your debt. Like, it can be a little move just like that, where you all of a sudden move to the other side and you start really giving yourself a chance to either pay off your debt or look at money in a different way. Maybe you start noticing your spending habits and you're like, oh wow, I never knew I was spending this amount of money. Oh, what can I do to, lower that? And it's funny, yeah. So that it's funny that it can be at that moment. And on the flip side, some people aren't even aware that they're making these mistakes. So like, they never notice that they can have this certain change inside themselves or they never notice they even have a problem. So they're just doing things repeatedly, kind of dealing with the same thing. So yeah, I think that nothing changes unless you change something within yourself, and it's always in there. Like, even if you don't have the answer inside, like, it eventually will show up some way or another. Maybe in not the way you like, 'cause that's normally how it tends when you don't listen the first time, or it comes in a blissful way. So yeah, I would say nothing changes until nothing changes. So yeah, that's what I think about that.
Cool.
That was dope.
What's another point that you wanted to talk about?
All right, so going off of that, I don't know if I want to stay on here.
Bro, hey, that's a great thing. You can just ebb and flow.
It's cool. All right, I'll just go high heaven. All right, so the other one I wanted to talk about was kind of like, okay, so let's have some tools that will help you get out of this. So now, let's say you're able to realize, become self-aware, realize that your debt is really an issue and you really want to work on fixing it. And you know that even if, like, let's say your problem isn't that you aren't paying it off, it's just that you're, being a minimalist and you're trying to, pay as less as you can on certain activities you do in order for you to take care of your debt. But you get to a point where it's like, it's too much. You're like eating 1 grain of rice a day. Like, what's going on here, right? like, so there, eventually you might have to go and maybe get a second job, or if you don't like a second job, you can go ahead and get a side hustle. There's a lot of them. 2 that I wrote down that Melanie did was, she was a brand ambassador. So brand ambassadors are sick. We ended up doing those type of gigs from Mr. World Kinetic.
Those are so much fun,
yeah,
bro.
like, man, if you guys can get it, like, if you guys can never work for like those type of jobs, like, it's a cool gig. It's a really like free flowing gig. You get to meet a lot of cool people. Like, it's not stressful. It's not like, it can get a little stressful, but it's not like, I don't know. You don't feel overworked.
It's not demanding, I guess.
Demanding. Yeah, that's the right word. Yeah, it's like, it's so much of a good time. Like, every time we worked, it's like every time I got off, I just felt like happy, and I don't feel like that. It was just, I met hella cool people. Met hella cool people. Got paid really well. You're not getting paid minimum wage. You're getting paid, at the time we were getting paid like 22, and minimum wage was like 14, 13.
Yeah. And it was simple stuff too.
Yeah.
And you get to meet, like you said, you get to meet cool people. You get to be part of. Sometimes you get to even be part of the event.
Yeah.
Like, for us guys, we get to see a lot of cool chicks. So we get to meet.
You
know what I'm saying?
We're working, all right, guys.
We're working. You know what I'm saying?
My eyes.
My 30 minutes of lunch. You know what I'm saying?
My eyes work. All right.
I'm off work for 30 minutes, so you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Man, so yeah, like you mentioned, there you do get to join events. I actually ended up going I was doing a New Year's Eve one in San Francisco at the Fort Mason.
Hey,
I was like scanning people's tickets in, and once my shift was over, T-Pain was performing. He was the headliner. So man, I went in there with my coworker, and it was cracking. You get paid and you get to go to a T-Pain event. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, and on New Year's. So it's like, that's just something to consider. Another one that she did was, she actually sold water bottles on underground raves. So she was out there selling water bottles. Like, I mean, that one, it's again, it's a little easier. It's maybe a little different, maybe outside of your comfort zone. But, there's options out there. For myself, what I do is, my side hustle is, I do eBay. I'm a reseller, so I just resell. That's not for everybody, I get it. But for me, like, I really enjoy what I do. It's really a cool side flip. I'm really at the point now where it's like, I know I need to look at it as a business, because I do. But I enjoy more of, like, just going out and finding stuff to resell, as opposed to like, damn, I gotta do this to survive. Like, I don't even see it like that. I'm really at the point now where it's like, this is a hobby of mine. I'm really having fun out here doing it. So there's a lot of if you know, I feel like, because you are, and that's the reason why I'm saying this, because I got to the point where I noticed that, yeah, I'm getting paid cool, but I'm like, I still have debt that I need to pay off, and I still want to at least, you know, treat myself to something cool, at least go somewhere and have something good to eat, or be able to take my daughter to somewhere cool and not worry about, like, dang, do I have enough? Where I knew a side hustle, I knew an extra, like, source of income would definitely help me. So that's the reason why I felt like when she mentioned that, it really hit with me, like, it resonated with me, because I was like, yeah, like, you get to the point where it's like, all right, I know I only make this amount, but I know I need to go make more. So how can I go and make more? So yeah. I thought that was really cool.
No, yeah, I mean, I think her mentioning the fact that you can only get so far, like what you said, in the sense of like being a minimalist. Yeah, you can have literally no furniture, like just have a bed and just sheets and stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying, if where you're working isn't paying you, you know, well, you know, if you're not making like cool money, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot harder. So yeah, side hustles, like you said. I mean, you do flipping for yourself. Myself, I like to do brand ambassador work. So right now I'm still, you know, I have a car, so I can do other things. I can, if I really wanted to, I could do Uber or Lyft. I can do, you know, those packaging things, just drop packages off people's doors. I can do food delivery, photo booth. There's some places that need people to do photo booths for like weddings and stuff like that. I can, you know, put the equipment in my car, go and be part of like a wedding and, you know, have a cool time. So for me, it's always like, you know, being a brand ambassador or doing photo booth events, because I like being social. I like noise. I'm very, in that sense, sometimes I can be very extroverted at times. There's times where I want to be introverted, but there's times where I just want to go out and just talk to people. So I like brand ambassador stuff. I like that kind of stuff. Side money, that money you can put it either towards your debt, towards your savings, whatever.
Yeah.
So
invest it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think those are very valuable tools.
Yeah, sick.
Cool. Cool. Another thing that she talked about, and this was, I related to her in this because I've hit the same thing that she's hit. She calls debt fatigue. And debt fatigue is, how would I describe it? It's when you're like in the process of paying off your debt, but you're not in the beginning and you're not in the end. And what I mean by that is you're not in the beginning because in the beginning you're excited, you finally decided to make actions, you're paying it off, you have all this motivation, and that lasts for a little while, and then towards the end, of course, you're excited to pay it off again, and you're paying it off, and you're seeing the numbers drop to zero. But then in the middle is the hardest part because you're not super excited because you're not started, but you're not all the way towards the end. You're in this weird murky water in the middle, and it's I would say this is probably one of the hardest points, but it's the most necessary.
No, thank you.
It's debt fatigue, and it's, you know, you just need to continue to be on your grind and continue to pay it off, because as much as it sucks and stuff like that, you know, it's hard if you stop, you know what I'm saying, it can be very detrimental for her, in a sense. What worked for Melanie, you know, might work for other people, might not work, but she recommended was taking a little break. And she talked about going on a trip to Spain, but she did that after she hit so many milestones. So she created milestones for herself, and after each milestone, it was a way for her to get motivated again. So after paying $10,000, she would do something. After paying $20,000, she would do something. So that way, I actually have something to look forward to as long as you're paying off your debt. And she recommends doing these milestones for anybody who has, you know, it can be a little bit of debt or a lot of debt, but as a way to motivate you to continue to pay off your debt. And so at one point she paid off, I forgot how much amount, but doing so allowed her to feel like, one, she's actually, you know, getting closer to her goal, and two, taking a vacation with her mom to Spain. And that was her thing. Like, And when she did that, she took a little break after doing it for so long. And then she went to Spain, did all the fun stuff, went with her friend, then came back. And when she came back, she felt like all this energy. She had all this energy and she pushed through it, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And sometimes, you know, there's this like mentality, like this hustle mentality, right? I would think. And to a point, I would say it works for in your favor, right? Hustle, 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 get your side gig, do this, do that, right? But once you start like losing sleep, once you start feeling loss of inspiration, once you start like feeling tired all the time, stuff like that, I think that's when you're going to hit a point of like fatigue. And that's like a sign of your body telling you mentally and physically that you need to take a break. Because if not, this can go south real fast.
Heck yeah.
So I think it's very important that we talk about the debt fatigue. So yeah, that's just kind of set up some milestones for yourself. So that way you have something to look forward to. Continue to pay off your debt. And if you need to take a little break, just a little bit, and I'm not saying go on 6 months binge and fucking do anything like that. Mm-hmm. But if you need to take like a week or whatever just to kind of, you know, reset yourself, you know, everybody gets fatigued. Yeah. It's just human, right? But if you need that little break, you know, do what you got to do.
Yeah. And I like that. I like her story of when she went to Spain. Like, at the moment, she was, like, undecisive. Like, she wasn't sure if she wanted to go. And, you know, I don't know if it was her friends or, like, her family, but they were like, oh, like, maybe you should reconsider it. Like, you know, like, you have debt. And she was like, no, I'm going to just go. Like, I know I had this debt, but I think I need to go. And she said that it was, like, the best thing she could have done for her journey with that. Because, yeah, like you mentioned, she came back energized. She came back, like, ready to go. And, yeah, she look at it. She ended up paying it off. And it kept her going, too, because I think at the time, too, she was starting her Dear Debt blog. Yeah. Or she was already in it. Yeah. So that helped her even more to continue that on top of what she was doing. Because that was her thing. Oh, one thing that I forgot to add for the side hustles was, like, she ended up finding that as a creative source to try to make money. So she went the creative route and became a blogger. And to this day, that's what she's living off now. So it's crazy. Just even if you don't want to actually work, like, these side jobs that we're mentioning, like, you can find a creative route. Hint podcast. There's a lot of options out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity.
But yeah, no, for sure. And I really listened to it because I remember I would tell you, like, I had ideas about, like, yeah, I want to, I have debt and I got to pay it off. And I'd be like, I just feel like sometimes it's boring. And you're like, well, why don't you just reward yourself? Like, once you pay a certain amount, just start rewarding yourself. And when she mentioned it, and I just thought of you at the moment too, I'm like, oh, bro, this is super cool. Like, they both align right here so well. Like, this is it. Like, like, just a small little rewards that you get yourself. You know, all right, you worked hard this week, like, paying off debt. All right, you go have yourself a beer, just one. Go ahead. All right, cool. Oh, you pay this one out. All right, maybe you can get some Chick-fil-A this week. Like, you know, just little things like that where you reward yourself for all your hard work. And I feel like it might not feel like it's important at the moment because you're like, no, I got all this debt and all the stress. But when you're biting that burger, you know, you're taking that sip or whatever you're doing to make yourself feel happy, like, you'll be like, yeah, this was really worth it. And I mean, that's what I do now. So, yeah, that's freaking cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
So thank you, brother, for that advice.
Oh yeah, I'm glad it worked. Cause I've been there too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's easy to forget. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, it's easy to get lost in the sauce. It's easy for just
get off track.
Yeah, it's easy to get off track.
Like that. One moment can change your whole journey.
Yeah, and you even said, like, man, there's some times where it's like, I just want to, you know, everything's going good, but let me just burn down the house. You know what I'm saying? I get to that soon. So, you know, it's important that we don't do that. It's important that we recognize it, but, you know, that we continue to find little things to kind of motivate us because, I mean, it's easy to get caught up in life and just either lose motivation and stuff like that, but just remember that it's for the better for yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because it does affect your mental health. You know, we mentioned it back in the podcast, but it talked about how, you know, the debt was affecting people's relationships. People didn't want to have kids because of it. People were missing weddings. I'm reading off, like, for example, 54%.
Yeah, that's a cool one. You mind reading them again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're cool statistics.
Which one did you want me to do? You can read whichever one.
Okay. Afraid of life, social entertainment.
So I put it in different categories. So this one is mental health. This one is affecting marriage and love. This one is social entertainment. So like when you're at your friends, going out, stuff like that. And then this is the type of debt. So yeah, I broke it down.
So okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I broke it down into categories, so it's easier to read.
Oh, this is dope. All right, I'll say that one for you. I'll just go here.
All right.
So yeah, so with debt, it's like 45%.
Mm-hmm.
Credit card debt's the worst. These are stats for types of debt that people are in currently.
And this is out of 2,000 people in the United States from the National Debt Relief is where we got all these numbers.
Ah, cool. So yeah, 45% of credit card debt. So almost half of the people in this study were in credit card debt. 34 were medical loans.
Yeah, medical loans.
So 34% were medical loans. 32 were owing money for a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
This one's or no? Just these three.
Yeah, and this one's separate, but yeah, you can read that one too.
The 87% agree getting out of So 87% agree getting out of debt feels like they're
retaking
control. Sorry,
that's okay. My writing is chicken scratch.
It could be my glasses too. Like they're
they feel like they're retaking control of their lives.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Yeah, all these like with debt, like just like credit card debt's the highest one. I'm a statistic. You know what I'm saying? I'm in there. I'm right there. So. You're not alone out there for anybody listening. People have credit card debt, they have medical, they own a mortgage, and 87% feel like they can retake control of their life by clearing out the debt. So, it's really something to work for sure. But yeah, guys, just for anybody out there, you're not alone.
You're not alone.
If you're in debt, just feel like you're not alone.
Yeah, I mean, like people, like I said, people give up. Like dating, like, and it's crazy to think about that. Like,
oh, sheesh.
Like you can't even go out there and take a girl out, or I'm talking guy's perspective, but like imagine like here's just some examples, right? 54% of the people there said that if their partner had major debt, that they would consider divorcing them. Jeez. If they were married to somebody. 38% said they would give up date night. And 36% said they would miss a friend's wedding because of debt. So, I mean, what I'm saying? Debt has, like, more than one way to affect your life. So it's very, like, important that we talk about it. It's very important that we address the elephant in the room. Put some strategies in your hands so you can actually deal with it and you're not stuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. No, thank you for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess just kind of.
Do you want me to do the last one, or do you want to go do your last one?
No, since we're already on the relationship one, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. So now that we're talking about relationship, we talk about relationship with money. Now we're talking about relationship with others. So that's why I wanted to ask Melanie that question. I wanted to ask her because I remember listening to a podcast and they talked about it, and it was very interesting. Mm-hmm. But pretty much. When you have one person that has one type of relationship with money and another person that has a different type of relationship with money and they get into a relationship together, because their differences are so high, it might not work out because those values are different. Here's an example. Let's say you're a saver. Let's say all your life you like to save your money because you for some reason or another you think it's you want to have your nest egg. You want to go and just save your money. You just want to have a house and stuff like that. Yeah, you like saving your money. You like being minimalistic. You have no
I would say to spend so much.
Yeah, exactly. Not to live like a fancy lifestyle. Not
Keeping
to.
Up the Joneses.
Yeah, no Kardashians, brother.
Okay. Check them out.
You have zero intention to keep up with the Kardashians, okay? So let's say you have that person. And then you have the person that's the exact opposite, right? They like the fancy things. They like to travel a lot. They like to spend money on nice restaurants, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Well, if those two people were getting into a relationship, because their relationship with money is so different, their values are going to clash. I was with somebody, for example. Personally, the way I see money is like, I guess because I see my father work so hard and my mother work so hard. I have like a very different relationship with money. I think money is, how would I say, like you work for your money. So I feel like there's honor. It's kind of weird, but there's like honor in getting money. So, you know, you take pride in what you work, and all that work is somehow dictated. It generates value. That value is then dictated by money, and that money is, you know, yours to spend, yours to do whatever you want. You know, sometimes I spend my money. You know, I like to go out once in a while. I try to use money as a tool to live it's kind of like a Taoist idea, like live like a balanced life. I'm not trying to be like a super saver where I'm not enjoying my life, but I'm not trying to go overboard and spend all my money.
You don't enjoy your life that way either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a different. There's two different hells, right? Yeah. You know, there's the hell of not, you know, living your life, and there's the hell of not being able to do anything because you're too, you know, just stupid with your money, pretty much. Just, I don't know what else to call it, just stupidity. So I try to live like a very like I said, kind of like a balanced lifestyle. Well, I got into a relationship with somebody who was not like that, who saw money as just an object where it has no value, and where easy come, easy go, you know. And she was the type of woman that, you know, liked to travel, liked to do all this stuff, and it didn't matter how much money she was making it, because it would come in and it would come out. And for me, that was a big problem for me, because like I said, I like to live a balanced lifestyle. So when I go out on a trip, you know, I don't want to be worried about money. If I'm gonna go out to, like, let's say Vegas or something like that, right? I want to make sure I set a certain amount of money saved up, so that when I go to Vegas, I have a great time and I'm not worried about penny pinching. I saved up enough money, so that money is gonna go straight to that. And that's the intents and purposes of that.
Yeah.
And it's not going to do anything else. I'm not going to take money out of my savings. I'm not going to do any of this funny, crappy bullshit stuff, right?
Yep.
Well, she wasn't like that. She was the opposite. And so it was very difficult. Like, that's probably one of the reasons. That's one of the major reasons why I ended up breaking up with her, was because her relationship with money was very different than mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't be with somebody like that. I needed to be somebody who was on my page. Because when you try to work with somebody who has different values and they're not budging, you're not budging, well, guess what? That's just a recipe for disaster. So when you do get into a relationship with somebody, you know, that's probably one of those conversations. It's not going to be easy conversation, but you know, you want to have those conversations early on, because at the same time, your time is valuable. Your time is the most valuable resource on this earth. And if you're not willing to have those hard conversations early on, that time is going to be spent with somebody who, you know, you could have been spending it with somebody who's more like you than somebody who's more, I would say, opposite of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you said, the main part was like the clash of values.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where all the problems are gonna stem from there. Like you mentioned, one's gonna save money, the other one's gonna want to spend it. Gonna keep battling each other. It's gonna be more headaches than compromise. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be more heartache. It's gonna be a lot of stress. That, you know, if someone doesn't value what you value, like, hey, even like I said, this might not be the right advice, so guys, don't take my advice all the way. But hey, if you like spending money and you meet somebody who likes to spend money too, then you guys can just spend money together. Then try to like put your will on somebody to spend their money, or the person who saves money puts their will on that person to save their money when they don't want to. So I feel like, even though myself, it just depends on the situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I would say, yeah, if it's really intense where no one's budging, yeah, I feel like a lot of relationships, you know, end because of that situation. Because
what's gonna happen is the person that wants to spend money is gonna be like, yeah, but I'm just trying to live my life, this and that. And the other person's going to be like, no, I'm just trying to make sure that we have stability. And then the person with stability is be like, no, but you're not listening to me. Like, they're going to feel a certain type of way. Like, hey, like, and then the other person gonna be like, "Well, I don't,"
and they're gonna feel a type of way.
Yeah,
too,
exactly. They're gonna feel a certain type of way.
Controlled, and you're gonna not feel heard.
Exactly.
And that's
yeah. Yep.
So from your relationship, it didn't work out, and there's probably a lot of relationships too that maybe that's one of the reasons too that they end up because money wise, and I feel those are more for mature relationships as opposed to obviously when you're barely becoming an adult or barely getting to college, no one's thinking about money. Everybody's trying to have a good time. So, relationships will end differently. In situations.
You're younger than when you're older. That makes sense.
Yeah, but as you get older, for sure, it's just when this is a serious relationship, where are we going? Where are we heading? Definitely, money is going to be one of the factors in the relationship. Because, man, we got to figure this out. We're going to be, the whole point of getting a relationship is to build something to get better than where you were.
Exactly.
We're both getting together to be better than what we were before. So why go backwards? Why would I want to be with somebody and go backwards when I can be with somebody or be together as a team and go forwards? That's the whole point of us being together. Or else I just be single. And I move myself my way. So yeah, I totally understand why relationships will end. Cause
yeah, man, it's not gonna, if the people in the relationship don't have the same values with money, then it's not going to work out. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Unless they have a game plan and the person that saves money saves it for a certain time and puts it away, and then that way the person that spends the money can pick the plan. There has to be some kind of deal working in.
That's a good word, deal.
Yeah. But if it's not, and it just becomes very difficult. It's easier to find somebody who's more like you in terms of the way you see your money, because then you don't have to do all that. You're already on the same page. You already can go skip that step. You still gotta work. Anything you want in life, you have to work for. Anything good, at least. Whether that's relationships, money, status, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's just what I've noticed. What I've seen also, with family members and stuff like that. Same thing. One person wants to do one thing, the other person wants to do the opposite, and either they don't want to work together, or the values are so deep that it's hard to, make a deal. So, yeah, she talked about it with her relationships, with her boyfriends, her previous boyfriend, the one that she's with now. You know what I'm saying? They are more on the same page. That's why it's that's one of the reasons why it's working out better. So yeah, I think the way you view money will affect not just how you spend it and stuff like that, but how you move with other people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly how you said it. Relationship doesn't only have to be romantic. It can be in friendships and partnerships at work. It can be a lot of the relationship. Whatever relationship you have, a friendship, whatever money's being used in a partnership, even that makes sense. If you're not putting your end, it's gonna mess up the partnership that you guys have working. So there has to be that alignment of values as it pertains to having money. Because how can you build a partnership with somebody and you don't even have any money to put?
Exactly.
They're not gonna be like, oh yeah, let me put all my money in. No, that doesn't work. So I feel it 100%, and that goes for everything, man. Me too. I mean, I have my own fair share of situations too. I've been more on the spending end, but yeah, it's just that's just, I guess you live and you learn. But,
definitely.
But I guess for me, just sticking on, I kind of like how you mentioned, because this was a good segue for me. How you mentioned that, the values are so deep ingrained in them that it's hard to change. So I wanted to talk about trauma that stays in your body as it pertains to having money, and maybe we can go a little more. I'll just speak for myself. So I feel with trauma and my whole situation, kind of how you mentioned earlier, where I'm things are a little too good to be true. I'm paying off my debt. I'm being responsible with my bills. I'm living healthy. Blah blah blah. Right? Something's not right about this. It's not right. So then I would purposely try to figure out a way to sabotage it so that I can start all over again from zero, so I can have that rush of the whole grind of trying to get there and trying to pay these things off.
Like prove to yourself almost that you can do it.
Yeah, but in the most unhealthiest way ever. Because like, what? Like, what are you doing, Angel?
Yeah.
Like, that's not like, nah. So yeah. So for me, it was like, I kind of reheard the episode again with Melanie and how because I asked her the same question, like, what do you think about this? And granted, she's not like a licensed therapist. She's not, nothing like that. It's just from what she experienced and what she thought. It just gave me what she thought about it, and I appreciate that because, hey, like those conversations, regardless of who you're talking to, whether that be an actual licensed therapist or even a friend, those are still tough conversations to talk about because you're being vulnerable and you're willing to listen to any blind spots that you could be missing. So it was nice to just hear it. So I'm glad that she said it. But yeah, she's like, it can be a lot of things. It can be like just out of boredom, or it can actually be like trauma that you experienced in your life. And yeah, and it just, I don't want to get too much into it, you know what I'm saying? But I would just say that I wasn't so much in like pleasant environment, I would say. Of course my mom and my stepdad, I know they love me tremendous, so, and I appreciate everything they did. But granted, things weren't as what's the word? Like stable. There you go. Things weren't as stable as I had thought life is supposed to be. Weird how I knew this at a young age, but I just knew moving from house to house wasn't like normal. Like I didn't think this was okay. But yeah, I mean, I never thought like it bothered me, but I just never thought it would bother me as an adult. So yeah, as I got older, I just realized that all that moving, all that turmoil pretty much groomed me into now where I'm on my own and I'm like paying off this debt and all that. And just because it's so stable, I gotta find a way to fuck it up. Just because I've been so used to it, and like, it's not like, what I'm saying, I don't feel like a victim. I don't feel sad about it. I know that I'm purposely doing this stuff, like, even though, yeah, I mean, I know I purposely do it because, like, if I ever go on a bender with drinking and I wake up and I feel worse, I mean, I know that I shouldn't, but I know the whole recovering process is me living through that turmoil. So I want to deal with the turmoil so I can recover from it, which is crazy. But yeah, so my question to that was like, I wrote it down actually because I had thought about it right before the podcast. I said, and this is like a reason why I like living on my own. And my question was like if things seem to get boring, I guess my question is, isn't this the peace I've been asking for? Like, I've been wanting to like live stably. I've been living, thank God I've been living where I live for 4 years now on my own. It's been stable, so my home life is stable. But because other things aren't stable, because other things are starting to become stable, I want to mess those up because I know those have less detrimental effects as opposed to actually living on the street. Like, I don't want to live on the street.
Yeah.
So I know I can just pay the rent here, but as opposed to that, like, I want to find these like little things to mess up. And that was a question that I thought before this podcast, which is like, I have been asking for so long, like I have been praying for so long for peace. Like, I just wanted peace in my life. That's all I wanted. And I purposely am giving myself, I'm saying, I'm giving myself I'm giving myself all that. So it's just funny because, and just to go back on on trauma in your body, it's like these things have been so ingrained in me that even if people have given me advice, because I have been given a lot of advice, like even though people give me advice, it's like, it's not that the advice helps, but it's just that it's so ingrained in me that I have to learn how to get these out, like take out these roots and put in some new seeds. And yeah, and that goes for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people have so much trauma that things trigger them, things trigger them. One word can trigger somebody. One movie can trigger somebody. One little thing can trigger somebody to something traumatic that happened in their life. And I feel like a lot of people who are probably dealing with, with that and other issues in their life, like, I mean, granted, I'm saying, I don't really have a lot of issues. I really live a really cool life. It's just the little things I can control are the ones I sabotage. But granted, I really live a very peaceful life. I'm very grateful. Like, my life is really cool. But for other people, it's just more so like, it could be a whole different situation. They could be in a whole different spot, and they have all these traumas that they have, and now they're like 30-something years old and still dealing with trauma. So yeah, I feel like that's something that maybe it's something to consider in case you don't know where you're at when it pertains to like paying off debt and other mental health problems that you may have, or that persist. Because therapy might help. Definitely, I think having good people around you definitely helps. But at the end of the day, trauma is your trauma, so you have to go ahead and figure it out. And no matter how much advice you get, you have to work on those traumas, whichever way you do. And coping with alcohol and weed is not gonna do anything. And granted, I don't drink because I have trauma. I drink just because I like to. But still, it's still like some people don't do this. Some people really drink to escape. Some people do other things to escape. So it's like, if you want to help yourself get into the next level, then you have to go ahead and deal with those traumas, because trauma stays in the body. And one book that Melanie did tell us about, where I write it down. I think it's here. Yeah, so a book of reference in case you guys are interested and want to check out. It's called The Body Keeps a Score. So yeah, I unfortunately it doesn't have an author on here, but I'll definitely go ahead and find it for you guys so that we can link it.
Let me just look it up right now. What's it called? Body Keeps a Score.
Yeah, The Body Keeps a Score. So yeah, I get that one is like a book on trauma. So definitely, if you guys want to check that out, kind of start working on yourself. It's a struggle for sure, but it's well worth it, because as much as you don't want to, maybe again going back to being ashamed of having that, maybe being ashamed of having some type of trauma is something you don't want to talk about. But I just feel like you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but at least acknowledge that you have it, and at least try your best to work on it.
I found the author, but this is going to be a name that y'all got to give me some time to get. Alright, so the name starts with B as in boy. First name is Bessel, Bessel. Then it's Van, Van. Der, Der. Kolk, Kolk. So it's Bessel van der Kolk. Alright, so that's the name of the author. The Body Keeps the Score. If you look it up online, her name should come up. It's the cover is blue, and it's like a photo of like a man or something, like a black figure. Yeah.
Oh wow, cool. That's a cool illustration. That's so Vandal.
It looks like a dude dancing, but I can't tell.
Yeah. Oh, and the author's a doctor, correct, MD?
Yeah, the author's right here.
Sick. That's all Van der Kolk.
Yeah, Bessel van der Kolk.
That's cool. Yeah, guys, so that's a resource if you guys want to check that out. Or, there's a lot of tools out there to help you guys out. If you feel, I guess, confidence with me or safe, you can go ahead and also message me. If you have any questions, again, I'm not a doctor, so I want to do that. I'm not a disclaimer, no therapist, nothing like that. But if you just need somebody to just listen at least, and, let me know. Because, I feel like not everybody, but a lot of us have it, and it's okay to have it. But it's okay to have it, but it's also better to work on it. But yeah, I think that was just funny in my end. Trauma's not funny, but it was just funny to notice and to come up with that question where I was like, I've been asking for this piece this whole time, so why am I trying to mess it up? And yeah, it just goes back to stuff like that. Oh yeah, because at first I thought it was just money, but then I realized other things in my life that I was messing up. I'm like, well, that kind of makes sense.
I mean, I think for you it's money. For me it's sometimes it's it's going on dates or something like that.
Say going on dates?
Yeah, sometimes. I'm like, this is going too good. Usually it's either bots. Usually it's a woman wants something from me, or it's like there's always flaking, always like a catch. So I'm like, man, this ship is nice. Like I'm enjoying this ride so far. Let me grab a bottle, just burn this shit down, alright? Let me create my own Titanic. Let me just. This is too good to be true. Hold on, wait a minute. Oh man. So sometimes like you said, you recognize that sometimes, sometimes you go through bad experiences so often that when something good comes along, sometimes you have the habit of fucking it up, but you have to just kind of catch yourself and realize this is actually something good. So try to take care of it, and that way it can last a little bit longer, as best as you can,
Yeah.
it's difficult with other people because, you know, you can only do so much on your part. You know, that the other person has some power too, so you can do as much as you can. But if the other person is not feeling you or whatever, then all you can recognize is that you did the best that you can, and then just move forward and leave with that. How would I say, like, intention, power? I don't know.
Confidence.
Like, how would you say, like, you leave with that intention that you did the best that you can with what you did? It's not intention, is it? Confidence?
No, not
I don't
confidence.
know. What would you say that?
I don't know.
That is.
Just, I don't know. I don't know about it.
That thought, I guess? I don't know.
Just knowing that you tried.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual wording would it be. But yeah, just do your best you can with what you got. Make the best you can. And if the trip ends early, then it ends early. But you tried to lead the ship as far as you can with what you had.
Yeah, one thing I also forgot to say that, like, because kind of going back to like what Melanie said about like boredom when it pertains to trauma. It's like if you maybe just things are boring, that's why you feel like self-sabotaging. But I think it's like the reason why it feels boring is because you're not used to it. Like you're used to so much chaos that when everything's okay, like you walk in the door kind of shaking, like looking both ways, like, is this too good to be true? And it's like, and that's the reason why I tend to sabotage it, because it's like, well, if it's too good to be true, I'm gonna be the one to mess it up. So it's just gonna take some time to like realize that this quote unquote boredom, which isn't boredom, it's actually peace.
Just readjust,
Yeah, it's just peace. It's just get used to it. It's just gonna be a new habit that you have to, that you're stepping into a new habit. And there could also be fear that's the reason why some people don't want to work on their traumas. Just the fear of like, whoa, I've been used to this my whole life. I don't want to change it now. And I would say if that's your situation, then I understand, I guess. But for the most part, yeah, it's just like, just know that, like, even though it doesn't feel right, because that's how I would feel. Like, I was bored because it didn't feel right. Like, it was just like, I'm not used to this. But at the end of the day, like, that's the peace I've been asking for. That's the reason why I went on my own, because I wanted peace. I wanted just to be myself. So, yeah, peace. When you're asking for peace, that's what peace is. So, feel accomplished that you got it. Like, if anything, I feel more accomplished today than I did before this episode, because I'm now thinking about it. It's like, yeah, everything I've been asking for, I'm getting. Like, I've been asking for this for so long, and I've been getting it. Thank God and thank everything, man. So yeah, like, it's freaking sick. Life's cool. But yeah, you got any other thoughts, brother?
No, I think for me I covered all the topics that I wanted to cover.
All right.
And I don't know about you, but
should we segue into just events happening soon?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So not next one. April 9th. On a Saturday.
Mark your calendars, baby.
You heard it here first. Grab your Sharpie, mark it down. And Martinez, there's going to be a brew fest happening. And yeah, just go check it out. I don't have the time here. Let me go look up what time it's going to come. Give me a second. Brew Fest Martinez.
Yo, Fuego in the house, bounce.
2022.
I'm chilling on my couch.
Okay, yeah. So it's called the Bay Area Craft Beer Festival 2022.
Sick.
Saturday, April 9th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Oh,
all right. So you can go to Eventbrite, check it out there, and let's see if there's any refunds. Of course, you're gonna have live music, delicious food, stuff like that. General admission is for beer tasting $45 plus processing fees each online, or $55 each at the door if not sold out. Okay, must include photo ID. Designated driver tickets, $5 processing fee each, $10 processing fee at the door. All right, and then they're gonna have all kinds of beers. They're gonna have 21st Amendment, Epidemic Ales, Dying Breed Brewing, Ace Cider.
Damn, that sounds good.
Almond, Altmont Beer Works, Duke Beer, Novel Brewing, all that good stuff. So again, it's April 9th from 12 to 4. Tickets are a little bit cheaper online. They're $45 plus processing fee. If you buy at the door, they're $55. Make sure you bring your ID, and if you're not going to be driving, make sure you bring a DD, designated driver, and no refunds. All right?
Man, sick. All right, guys. You guys be ready for that. That sounds hella fun. And then on my end, we had our guest, Alex Woody, come on our podcast a couple episodes ago. You guys want to go ahead and check that one out. It's hecka funny. A booger comes out my nose. That's how funny he was. That episode was hella sick. And he has a few shows coming up soon. But the one that I'm going to focus on more is on April 4th. It's going to be a Thursday. So April 4th. April 21st on a Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Alex Woody's actually going to be performing at Retro Junkie in Walnut Creek. So, you know, he's going to be out here close to us if you live around Walnut Creek, Concord, Pittsburgh, Antioch. He's going to be around, so if you guys want to go ahead and check him out. Again, you guys can reference our video and his content on Instagram as well. I think it's at _Alex Woody Comedy on Instagram. You guys go ahead and check out his content just to get a feel for him. But, you know, he's still, like, you know, he's a Bay Area comedian, so that's freaking cool. And number two, he's hella funny. So
yeah, he is. We interviewed him on episode 20. Was it 22? Yeah. I think
22.
The one before Melanie.
Yeah. She's 23, 20. Yeah, 22. So, yeah. So that's gonna be a dope. It's gonna be a great show. It's gonna be a great show.
Yeah.
You know,
come support your local comedian. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Have a good time. You'll see us with our shirts.
Yeah,
Can't miss us.
Yeah. You guys want to come by, take pictures, say what's up, talk to us about the podcast. We'll be there as well. He doesn't know yet, so I don't know.
He'll find out.
Yeah, we might have to surprise him. But yeah, we're planning on going to Retro Junkie that day to go check him out. So again, that's gonna be April 21st. On a Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Retro Junkie is a bar, so I think you need to be 21, but we'll give more details on our Instagram and our TikTok as we get closer to the date just to have more info. But yeah, so we're looking forward to those events happening around the Bay in case you guys want to figure out something to do or have any plans that day. You want to go on a cool like comedy date, you want to take a honey, or
there you go.
Or if you want to go meet a honey, or
grab some beers and see a honey.
Or you just want to go out, you know, have fun, enjoy yourself. Then it's all there. We'll be there. You guys want to come say what's up, and yeah, that's what's going on around the Bay all day.
And that was our segment. Anything else?
I think that's all I have on my end.
Me too.
Okay.
Let's wrap it up.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to our episode and our thoughts from our previous episode. If you guys have any thoughts, you guys want to contact us, we'll have it all. You know, you can find us on Instagram. You can find us
IG,
on YouTube.
TikTok, YouTube. Yeah, those are our main ones.
Yeah, feel free to hit us up. We'll be there. And yeah, thank you guys again for your time. Thank you again for listening, and you know, enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.
Peace.